The cider was still warm in my hand when Patricia Caldwell pulled me aside at her Christmas party. She didn't smile. She didn't say hello. She didn't even pretend this was casual. She just stood there in her silk blouse and diamond earrings, staring at me like I was already a ghost. And then she said the words that shattered everything I thought I knew about my life. Ashley, it's time to replace you. Just like that. 9 years? Gone in one sentence. If you've ever had someone you trusted stab you in the back when you least expected it, you already know how that moment feels. You don't cry right away. You don't scream. You just stop breathing. My name is Ashley Bennett. I was 40 years old that night, and until that exact moment, I thought I had built something permanent, something real, something that mattered. I had started at Caldwell Freight Group when my daughter Emma was just 3 years old. Back then, I was just a junior routing assistant making barely enough to cover daycare. But Patricia had made promises. "Your family," she said. "We take care of our own." And like an idiot, I believed her. I worked nights, weekends, holidays. I answered calls at 2 a.m. when shipments got stuck. I missed Emma's kindergarten recital because a major client needed emergency rerouting. I missed anniversaries, missed birthdays, missed pieces of my own life, because I thought I was building a future. Not just for me, for my family, for Emma. And honestly, I thought Patricia respected me. Until that Christmas Eve, behind us. The party was alive with laughter. Her massive house outside Louisville glowed with warm lights. People sipped wine. Kids ran through the hallways. Music played softly. My daughter Emma was upstairs laughing with her cousins. She had no idea her mother's life was falling apart 10 feet away. Patricia crossed her arms calmly. "You've done good work," she said. But there was no warmth in her voice. No appreciation. Just corporate detachment. "The company needs fresh energy. Younger leadership. People who understand modern automation systems. Younger. That word hit harder than anything else. I had increased efficiency by nearly 40%. Saved the company millions. Secured contracts competitors couldn't touch. But none of that mattered. Because I wasn't young anymore. Because I wasn't shiny anymore. Because I wasn't new anymore. Then, she delivered the final blow. "Ryan Cole will take over your position in January." Ryan, 28 years old. Bah. The same guy I personally trained. The same guy who used to ask me for advice. The same guy who called me his mentor. She offered 6 months severance like she was doing me a favor. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Don't tell Mark tonight. He would ruin Christmas." Mark, my husband, her son, she had already decided. And he hadn't warned me. That was the moment I realized. This wasn't business. This was betrayal. I didn't cry. Not there. Not in front of her. I just nodded, turned around, walked out of that house quietly. But inside, something had already broken. Something permanent. Something that would never be repaired. And that was only the beginning. Because what happened after that night would change all of our lives forever. When Mark walked in after the party, he stopped cold when he saw the suitcases. His smile disappeared instantly. "Ashley, what's going on?" I looked at him, really looked at him, and asked the question I already knew the answer to. "You knew, didn't you?" He hesitated, just for a second, but that second told me everything. He sighed. "She mentioned restructuring. That was it. No apology, no anger, no defense, just quiet acceptance. Like my career was collateral damage he had already accepted. If I fight her," he said carefully, "it complicates things, complicates things." That phrase echoed in my head. Not unfair, not wrong, complicated. That's when I understood something painful. He wasn't my partner anymore. He was protecting his inheritance, not his wife. And in that moment, I stopped loving him. Not dramatically, not loudly, just quietly, completely, and forever. I left that night. Snow falling softly, the roads empty, the world quiet. But my mind screaming, I drove to Union Station without thinking. Bought a one-way ticket to Chicago. Sat alone on a cold bench, watching strangers pass by. And for the first time in nearly a decade, I had no plan. No job. No safety net. No idea what came next. And honestly, that was terrifying. But sometimes, the scariest moments in life are the ones that lead you exactly where you're meant to be. Because 30 minutes later, everything changed. A black sedan pulled up slowly in front of the station. The driver stepped out, walked toward me calmly. Ashley Bennett? I froze. My first instinct was fear. How did he know my name? My name is Daniel Reed, he said. My boss would like to meet you. No, Edua M. Every instinct told me this was insane, but something in his voice, something steady, confident, certain, listen, and that decision changed everything. The office building downtown was quiet and dark, except for one floor, the top floor. Waiting inside was Evelyn Hamilton, founder of Hamilton Logistics, a woman whose reputation was legendary. She shook my hand firmly and said something I never expected to hear. I've been watching your career for years. Not recently, years. She knew about the contracts I saved, the systems I improved, the teams I built. She knew my value, even when my own family didn't. Then she said something that gave me chills. Caldwell Freight didn't fire you because you weren't good enough. They fired you because they didn't deserve you. No one had ever said that to me before. Not even Mark. Especially not Mark. Then she offered me a position. Director of Operations. Higher salary. Equity ownership. Flexibility for Emma. Real authority. Real respect. Real trust. Everything I had earned. Everything I deserved. Everything Caldwell never gave me. But here's the truth. Nobody tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your ability to trust. So I didn't answer immediately. I needed time. To think, to breathe, to decide who I wanted to become next. Because this wasn't just about a job anymore. This was about my future, my identity, my life. And the decision I made the next morning would define everything that followed. When I signed that contract, I didn't just accept a new job. I accepted a new version of myself. A stronger version, a wiser version, a version that would never again sacrifice her worth for someone else's approval. And over the next year, everything changed. I rebuilt failing operations, saved contracts, saved jobs, earned respect. Real respect. Not because of family, not because of loyalty, but because of results, because of competence, because of strength, because of me. And slowly, I rebuilt my life too. Emma and I moved into a small house near the river. We built new routines, new traditions, new memories, ones built on truth, not illusion. Meanwhile, Caldwell Freight began falling apart. Their new leadership made mistakes. Automation systems failed. Clients left. Revenue collapsed. And the empire Patricia built started crumbling. Mark called once. Said he missed me. Said he wanted to fix things. But he wasn't calling because he loved me. He was calling because he needed me. And I had learned something important. Need is not the same as love. I didn't go back. Because sometimes, walking away is the strongest thing you can do. Years later, I became partner at Hamilton Logistics. Emma grew into a confident, brilliant teenager. And one night, she said something I'll never forget. My mom fixes broken companies. She said it with pride. Not sadness, not confusion. Pride. That's when I realized something. Patricia didn't destroy my life that night. She freed me. Freed me from a place that never truly valued me. Freed me from people who saw me as replaceable. Freed me to build something better. Something real. Something mine. So if you're going through betrayal right now, if someone made you feel replaceable, remember this. Sometimes the worst night of your life becomes the beginning of your best one, because your value was never determined by their ability to see it. And once you realize that, you become unstoppable.